All right, we're going to go look at a job that we did probably 5 years ago down here on the lake, and it's way out of our area. And somehow the lady talked us into coming down here and doing it. And I made it plain to her that we would come install it, but somebody else would have to service it, and you know, we weren't gonna come this far for maintenance or any of that. And you know, that was fine with them. And now somehow whoever it is has came and stirred some sort of controversy over it. I got no idea what it's all about. Supposedly it leaks water in the basement, and that's basically all I know. So these houses are right on the water, so they're pretty nice.
Destination in 900 feet.
I can't remember any of this, but we're getting pretty close according to the GPS. So we're going to go in here and take a look and see what's so terribly wrong that some other dealer has claimed is, you know, going to cost a lot of money to fix. Well, it's always something, you know. So let's take a look here. Talk about it. Looks like somebody's got the disconnect out. That one is from 14.
Yeah, there's two yellow
See this one?
nest up there, and
All right, so obviously something's going on with this one. All right, so apparently the machine froze up, and oh, look at our little buddy there. Let's see if we can get a good shot of it. Hey there, buddy. Anyway, because I was told that it had iced up, and he told them there was some part that was on back order for 2 weeks. And whoever that is the guy that put this machine in, which is a XB model, and we don't usually buy these. I don't know where the sticker is. There it is. So this line is discontinued anyway, but we never bought them. It's just kind of a baseline or builder or whatever the B stood for. Just never was an attractive unit to me, so I never bought them. So we're going to crank this thing up and see if we can figure out what's going on, if it's got a bad valve or a leak or whatever, and we're going to try to fix it. All right, so our standing pressure doesn't look too terribly out of whack. So if I'm going to make a guess here, I'll say this thing's got a valve problem, and that's why it froze, and that's what's wrong here. So let's just see what happens here. And it may be something a little more simple than that. Let's hook the superheater up. And our little friend is hanging really close with us. He keeps looking over at me. He jumped over to that wire. He's following me around. Pretty nice fellow. We might have to give him a name. I think we'll start calling him Jimmy. That's Jimmy the whatever he is, lizard. So, as high as we've got the head pressure here, I don't think this is just a leak and a low charge issue, but okay. So with that much subcooling and that low of suction pressure, I'm suspecting we have a valve issue, but I'm going to make sure we've got airflow. Let's go make sure of a couple other things here before we jump to too many conclusions, but we see how high this superheat is and how low the suction is. And we're probably really close to target there. So that points towards the valve. And the target is only 8. So everybody knows what I'm going to do next before I do anything valve-wise. I'm going to add the MTX oil treatment, or whatever we call that. Very similar to AC Renew. I've had really good results with it. So I'm going to add that first, and then we will likely replace the valve. But I'm still going to put that into the system first to replace, to protect the new valve from sticking. Okay, our little helper is now actually trying to help us. He was up there reading the gauge. I watched him walk up here, got across the handle, and sat down up there and rested. But he's obviously a friend. He likes us. So we like him too. I'm just going to add 2 ounces to this one. This is a real short line set. Goes right through there. And I bet you the total length on this line set is probably maybe 12 foot. Little utility room, mechanical room is right on the other side of this wall. So I'm going to add 2 ounces instead of 4. And we'll let it run a little bit, and then we'll pump this thing down and we'll replace the valve. Alright, so our friend has made our Trane unit his home. You see him. So, he's been watching me and hanging out with me. I kind of like him. Old Jimmy the Lizard. So, I've got our valve here, which is on back order from the factory, showing 0 for 2 weeks. And I just happen to have one in my truck. Actually, a couple of them in my truck. So, VAL 12375, and that is for 3 tons and down on a TIM 3 air handler. So we're going to fix this thing while we're here, because this lake is a long way from our area. And I really didn't want to put it in. The lady talked me into it, and I told her I didn't want to service it. Some sort of controversy with the other guy that put that one in, that, claimed whatever. I'm not really sure what they did, how that upset the customer, but I came on down to see what's going on, and we're going to put a valve in it and fix it. All right, so we got a pretty good work area here. It's in the laundry room here, and this is our machine that we need to repair. So not going to be too bad when you stand right here on a nice concrete floor. And I think we can change this valve in maybe 20-30 minutes. Okay. So let's go cut the trickle off and pump it up with some actual pressure and see if it holds for a few minutes, and we'll start to vacuum. Get these people back to their life as they once knew it. All right, I've got this right at about 260, 259.9 and 260.01. And I'm going to watch this, and I'm going to hope it does not budge. And if we drop a tenth or something, I'm going to set about 10 minutes and make sure it doesn't drop another tenth. These hoses and gauges, I keep them all tested and maintained. We're in good shape everywhere. So I'm going to give this a few minutes, and hopefully it does not budge. And we'll start to vacuum and get this thing back running. All right, it went to 260 and back to 259. There, see, there it goes back to 260. That doesn't bother me. Holding steady at 260.01 here. Nitrogen is not as perfect as it can be. Now, it's a lot more perfect than oxygen as far as reacting to temperature and everything else. Now, obviously, there's a lot of oil left in the system that could have slight amounts of refrigerant in it and whatnot, so you're not going to get a perfect, well, it looks like we went up a tenth there, so I'm happy with this. I am convinced that we have absolutely no leaks. And like I say, it's probably coming up on about 3 minutes. And this thing ain't going nowhere. So let's get the vacuum hooked up. All right, it's actually going up, not down, but anyway, the customer came around here and talked to me for a minute, so this has been sitting here about 10 minutes. So we're good to go. We're going to release this nitrogen, and all I'm going to do that is open the gauge, let it all out. And let's get the vacuum going. All right, we're only 5 or 6 minutes into it. Getting close to 1400 microns. It's a good pump, fresh oil in it. But you see the hoses and the manifold. So the rig is much more important than the size of your pump. So if we want to see 500 microns, we might as well go to lunch. But, we're going to see how far it'll go, and hopefully we don't have to accept any less than our standard, and we would really like to see 500. Come back and check on it. All right, we're down to 780. And dropping slow, but we may get what we want here. I would be thrilled to see 500. So let's give it a chance. All right, we've been running over 30 minutes now. The S-Man even timed out and turned off. And that's where we're at. We're getting close to 600. So I generally just wait this out and try to get 500 out of all of them. But we are really under pressure today. So let's hope for the best. Hope this thing doesn't go stagnant on us. It's moving. It's moving very slow. So we're getting close. Alright, I was just about to say it's quit moving and it dropped one. It's really getting slow. So I'm getting close to letting this thing have a pass and going. Phone's blowing up and everybody's pressuring us pretty good. And you know, it's actually moving. So we may actually reach it. Patience is the key. We are definitely very slow at gaining progress right now. I'm about to say close enough here. We are 45 minutes into this evacuation, and that's about as far as I can. Alright. Superheat might be a little bit high for a little while, but everything is looking much better. I have not added any refrigerant, and it looks like we may have a tad more than we should in it. We've got 10 on subcooling. It's calling for an 8. Our suction pressure looks really good, and it would suit me if that superheat were 14 or below, but I think we're probably okay considering the house is out of whack. This thing was off for a couple of days before I even got here. So it looks to me like we're going to have to pull a little bit of refrigerant out just by looking at this, but I'm going to let it run its full 10 minutes, maybe 15. That's taught to us, of course, on these 410 systems, and then we're gonna look at it from there. All right, I took a little bit of refrigerant out, and I got this where I'm comfortable with it, just below the 8, which is the target of 8 and plus or minus 3. But on a heat pump, I just don't like to be on the high side of it. What'll happen is in the heat mode, they'll let the filter get dirty and the head pressure will jack up, and I just don't like that. So I like it to be just a hair under the actual target on heat pumps. And straight air conditioners, I'll do a little bit different depending on how long the line set is and what it's running through. But this thing's fluctuating from 7.1 up to 7.8. I've seen 7.9 once. I'm happy with the pressures. It'd suit me to see the superheat a little bit lower, but you know, once the house stabilizes, I think that may happen. But we're happy with what we're looking at. There's 7.9, there's 8. So we're really where we need to be charge-wise. So I'm going to leave it, and I think this thing will be okay. So let's button it up and get out of here.